Hey there, welcome to day 1285 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting the journey as we transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. Millions of people, if not more, or millions and millions of people have migrated or changed the way they're doing things due to COVID-19. COVID-19, there was always a big migration for people from the offline to the online world, but nothing, I don't think there's anything. I think history will show to us that COVID-19 was one of the biggest motivating factors or causal factors of people going online. Online's in social media, online for business, online to deliver products and services, and to continue to find ways to make a living. COVID-19 made that possible. It made Zoom calls available to everybody. I mean, I think I've been using Zoom for a couple of years, but my mom had never used Zoom. My aunts had never used Zoom, and everybody in all areas, all walks of life, had to find ways to communicate with one another as we were locked down and mandated that we couldn't see one another for the better part of a year. I mean, it's been about a year where people have been restricted. So we had to find ways to communicate, and I think that one of the benefits of COVID, and as you know, people don't like to look at benefits of things, but one of the positive things that came out of that was a transition to, and actually the virtual connectivity of people and their ability to communicate in spite of not being able to physically congregate. So today, I call this one 7 Why Tips, because we were talking about the tip of the iceberg for supersize your business, and then we were talking about the 7 whys for the Get Up and Go challenge. And so I made some classy graphics and visual aids today on a dry erase board that I got for $1 at Target. So it just goes to show you, you can come up with creative ways to communicate with people, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. I use a lot of stuff that already exists in my life, because there's a lot of stuff in my life, to demonstrate and to get points across, or to just be a little bit more fun and creative with things. I find that sometimes we're so serious about our businesses and our lives that we forget to have fun. We forget to enjoy. We definitely forget to be present. So I like to, every once in a while, mix it up and do some goofy things. And I was thinking about why, the question why, and the letter Y, and it reminded me of Sesame Street. I don't know if Sesame Street's probably still on. I think you can get thousands of television stations now. So everything we grew up with and beyond is all the new things that have been created are available for people pretty much any time. You can just Google it or YouTube it, and you can find what I'm referring to or talking about. So Sesame Street always had, you know, the count, and then it was a letter of the day, and they would present it to you. I remember watching it with my kids in the background, right? I wasn't really sitting and watching Sesame Street. Shame on me for not being present with my kids. So tip of the iceberg, I actually love this expression, and I learned a little bit more today. I learned that, as I was researching this, that the 9/10 part of the iceberg that's below the water is called the bummock, and the little bit, the tip above the water, is called the hummock. I never knew that. I mean, maybe I learned it or heard it sometime, but I never really paid attention to it. Ernest Hemingway is actually credited with this particular, the iceberg theory. And his style of writing that he taught and shared, and what he did was, he believed that the more you stripped away the non-essentials, the more details you took out of a story, the better the story was. And that's how he wrote. He would write, and then he would take out all kinds of stuff, and then he'd take out more and more and more till it got to the true essence and the core, the most important part of the story. And I think that's true. Excuse me, my throat has definitely got the gummy cloggies today. I think that it's true of everything, especially in our lives. We as humans, at least I'm guilty of this, tend to overcomplicate everything. We take conversations and we relive them for hours, weeks, years, months, whatever. But we blow them out of proportion. We remember them differently, and we play them over and over and over again in our mind, and they get distorted when we play them over and over and over again in our mind, usually in a way that we don't want them to be. So I think that's an example of the iceberg theory, even taking things from the past and bringing them forward with us. You know, the event was maybe a minute, and we relive it so many times that it becomes hours of our life wasted, because it's wasted time reliving things from the past, right? Unless it's something that motivates you and energizes you so you act now, it's a waste of time and energy, and it's probably negatively impacting you whether you know it or not. And that's what I like about the 7 Whys exercise. It gets us to realizing some of those things that are impacting us and taking away our personal power and our ability to act and decide and do things and see the choices and the infinite possibilities that are right in front of us, because there's something that's tripping us up that we are not even consciously aware of. It's, again, another example of the iceberg theory, where most of what goes on with us is in our subconscious. It's not available. We don't see it. We don't experience it consciously. It happens automatically and subconsciously. And those things can prevent us from getting the things that we want. Our annual challenge today was about a relationship goal, which I quite enjoyed, and then a process, because I love these little process diagrams of how to get there. You start with the goal. You begin with the end in mind. What do I want? Always one of the most powerful things you can ask yourself, besides a bunch of whys, and to understand what makes you tick, is what do I want? And then why do I want it? Why do I want that? Why do I want that? But we have to know what we want before we ever know how we're going to get it. So this one was about relationships and how we get them. It says my relationship goal and how I will get there. And it starts out then on the bottom is start, and then it's got a couple of blocks, and then on the top is the goal, the thing that you want. So to me, it's a great reminder to begin with the end in mind. What am I going to start out with? What do I want for my relationship goal? And then what are the big blocks I need to achieve to make that happen? And then what can I do right now today? What can I do to start moving toward that? I'm not going to share what mine was because it's embarrassing. So it's on there. All right. Again, when I do a challenge, I do it right along with the people that are doing the challenge. So my annual challenge, this is my 4th one. I do it right along with people. And if you look in my book, you can see that I write and answer and do the things that are asked to do. Same with the Get Up and Go challenge. I did my 7 Why exercise. Don't know where my book is. I did my 7 Whys, and then I actually shared it on the video and still stayed under 10 minutes. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I did it for communication, because communication is one of the 2 new areas that I added in April to our areas of our life that I want to set goals for and objectives and actually be working toward. So since I'm doing that, I like to demonstrate and teach what I'm actually doing, what's actually working. So I shared communication, and confidence is the other one. To physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution, added communication and confidence. And I think those are great because, like so many things, they're foundational. I personally think, based on my experience and what I've learned and from coaching and teachers and people much wiser than me, that communication, confidence, our emotional and mental, those 4 areas of the 9 areas of our life, if you've got those 4, they positively or negatively, depending on how you're doing in those areas, impact all of the others. All of the others. Our emotions impact everything. We like to pretend, oh, we're these rational beings, and I'm not free from that either. I'm a scientist and an engineer, and so I think things should be logical. But that's a lie, because I'm just logical because I want to not be afraid or uncertain, and that's how I make decisions and choices, is by getting more information and facts and reasons and figuring out how things work. But that all comes down to, because I want to be certain. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to make a mistake. And that all stems from fear, right? And that's an emotion. Is it emotion? Yes, it's an emotion. So everything is emotional. Everything comes down to our mindset and our beliefs and our thinking and our thoughts as well. And that impacts every area and aspect of our life. I mean, you could argue that all of them impact everything, but those core foundational ones, and I think physical as well, but that's just me because I've had physical challenges for the majority of my life, and I've had to figure those out and overcome them. And all of us have different obstacles and roadblocks and things that come up in our life. And no 2 lives are the same. None of us will ever have the same experience. And that's what's so powerful about sharing and documenting your journey, and sharing with other people the things that you learn, the lessons you learn, the wisdom that you have. Because keeping it in yourself, it's like my dad always said, hugs aren't any good if you keep them. And it was one of, as far as I'm concerned, his most famous sayings, because he was so true and so right. You can keep hugs, you can keep things to yourself, but is that really helping you or making your life better? No, it's actually making it worse and taking away from your life. Same is true with, I think, knowledge and wisdom and the things that we learn. I think that we learn them so that we can share them with the other people that we're supposed to share them with. Just a little philosophizing, I guess, instead of a philosophical discussion, I guess, today. So, Get Up and Go Challenge, day 6 of 30, day 218. I said 214 yesterday on the video. I have no idea why I said 214. I think because it was day 1284 and I got 84 and 17 mixed up somehow. I don't know. Sometimes I'm tired in the morning. But today it was then 1285 today, 218 for the annual challenge, 6 for the Get Up and Go challenge, and over 1,000 for the idioms. But I lost my first record of them, so I lost about 50 to 100 of the first ones that I did because I had a computer glitch. So I think I'm at 902 recounting, starting over again. So definitely done over 1,000 of those. And again, some of them, a couple of them are repeating, but every time I do a new one, I'm a different person than when I did it before. Even if it's a couple of weeks ago, I'm still a different person. I have different ideas, different perspectives, different thoughts, different beliefs, different experiences that I can draw from to discuss that. So, for example, tip of the iceberg, I don't know when I talked about it. I'm sure it was a while ago. I could look it up. I could Google and go through my sheet and find it. Maybe I'll do that later, just because I'm curious now. But I definitely didn't talk about hummock and bummock because I never knew those before. And I don't know if I talked, maybe I talked about Ernest Hemingway. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I probably talked about the Titanic because that's cool. I mean, it's bad, but it was an interesting experience for the world. It's definitely impacted the world if we're still talking about it today. All right, that's all I've got today. I'm ramping up for the weekend. I get to hang out with my amazing 6-month-old granddaughter. It's her 6th birthday today. So I will be hanging out with her this weekend and having an amazing time. But I will make sure I get my videos done because I always do. All right, any questions? Ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Bye.